After listening to market specialists about the government measures to the Brazilian economy, now São Paulo Direct came to hear an academic opinion about the macroeconomic policy and its consequences. I'm Luciene Miranda and this is São Paulo Direct by Dukascopy TV, and I'll talk now to Simão Silber, professor at University of São Paulo. What's your opinion about the Brazilian economy this year?
I would say that we are in a move to change completely macroeconomic policy. During 4 years, we did use inconsistent macroeconomic policy. We used in this country an expansive monetary and fiscal policy when we were close to full employment. So we ended up with very high inflation, disequilibrium in the fiscal budget, in the balance of payment, and we have to make a correction in this route for this year. So the prospects for 2015 are of poor macroeconomic performance with zero or negative growth of GDP, and already with high inflation close to 7% per year, because we have to increase price of energy since we are in a shortage. So it's going to be a very difficult year where everything what's told during the political campaign for the presidency is going to be done just the opposite.
What about next year?
Probably 2016 it's going to be better than 2015, but only in the second part of the year. I would say that during the first and the second quarter of 2016, Brazil will have already a growth close to zero. So we are in a stagnation in terms of economic performance, and after, if this is done in terms of correcting monetary, fiscal, and exchange rate policy, probably by the late 2016 and 17, we'll go to a growth rate close to 2.5% per year. But we'll have to wait until these policy measures will be taken or not. We are not sure yet, because part of those measures depend on the Congress approval, and there are restrictions, opposition to what is mentioned now, that has to be done in Brazil.
And what's your opinion about the consequence to the economy of this lack of water and energy here in Brazil?
I think that in the worst scenario, if the shortage of water and energy is very tight, we are going to have a fall in aggregate production in Brazil of 1.5%. So GDP in the worst scenario for 2015 is a fall in production of 1.5%, and the industrial sector will be the sector that will suffer more with lack of energy and water.
And in your opinion, how government is managing this problem?
I think they were not prepared to this extreme scenario, and the only thing that has to be done is rationing. With rationing, we are going to have fall in production, employment, and high inflation.
What about corruption at Petrobras?
The effect of corruption is to reduce investment in this country. Petrobras is the biggest investment company in Brazil. And they are now, with this process, they are reducing investment in deep water prospection. So all companies that supply Petrobras, they are in difficulties. Most of them, some of them they are going bankrupt now. So the effect will be extremely negative in this country. We are going to see in 2015 reduction in the level of investment in Brazil.
This is a lack of confidence of the foreign investor here in Brazil?
I think it's much more a legal problem now, a political problem, a policy problem than confidence. We have to open the budget of Petrobras, and this didn't happen yet. They announced accounting numbers yesterday, and they are not true. There are no correction for the corruption effect on it. So it's much more a problem of transparency now than of confidence.
Simão Silber, thank you so much for joining us.
You are always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Luciene Miranda to São Paulo Direct by Dukascopy TV.